Hello there, YouTubers. Thank you for watching this video. This video is brought to you by Wiseman Automotive. Today we're going to work on this beauty. It's a 2004 Toyota Sienna. It has the 3MZ FE engine, which is a V6. And today we are going to do the timing belt and that whole job. We'll replace the valve cover gaskets. We're going to replace the upper intake manifold gaskets. We're going to do the spark plugs. We will have to remove this cowl panel here. We will have to remove the right front tire and the splash shield. And of course your serpentine belt is going to have to come off of there. We're probably going to go ahead and do cam seals because this thing's leaking engine oil pretty good. Probably do a crank seal as well. Yeah, give them a whole big tune-up. Then after all that, also have to do some air conditioning work, which may be in this video or I may make another video. Just a little warning that this is going to be a long video because this is a lot of work and I may have to do this in like 2 or 3 different sections. We'll see how it goes, but I'm going to show you all the torque specs and how to do this correctly, and we'll go from there. Right now, let's look at least some of the tools I know we're going to need. The ones I'm going to show you right now, definitely I know I'm going to need, and then there's probably some more along the way. Okay, we already know that we're working on a Toyota, so most everything should be metric. I'm going to use an impact gun to pull the a half-drive impact gun to pull the tire off, and also the harmonic balancer. I'm going to have a 3/8 gun for doing the smaller stuff. I'm going to grab an air ratchet, speed things along. I'm going to have a normal 3/8 ratchet, which this one is adjustable head. It's a fine tooth. A quarter drive ratchet, adjustable head, fine tooth. A couple torque wrenches. Going to need a 21mm socket to get the tire off. And because I'm working on a Toyota, I grabbed my 18, my 17, 14, 12, and 10 wrenches and sockets. And then, of course, I'm going to be using the same sockets on my swivel sockets as well. I got my wrenches, some more ratchet wrenches in here. And we are also going to use this Allen head to get the cover off, which I've already done. This is a 3/16 Allen head, and there was a cover that sat right here. I went ahead and took that off, so that's what you will need to remove that. I'm also going to need something to put all my nuts and bolts in. There's going to be a lot of nuts and bolts, and this helps keeps it organized. You can use a muffin tin, or if you want to, get a Ziploc bags and then mark them where you took it off with. I'm going to need a pair of pliers that I haven't gotten out yet to take the hose clamp off. Probably going to need a pocket screwdriver, maybe a pick. I'm sure there's a couple other tools, and I'll try to name them as we go along. All right, first thing I did, disconnect the battery. Okay, got the negative side off. I'm also using fender covers. Now, this van is not a beauty queen. As a matter of fact, nice little dent in there, okay? But this is the customer's car. Doesn't matter how it looks. To them, this may be their Lamborghini. To you, it may look like a pile of junk. But you should always try to use fender covers. Also, my belt that I have on my shorts right now, it's called a mechanic's tool belt, and it has no buckle on there, so there's nothing to scratch the paint if I do lean over this vehicle. Okay, battery is disconnected. Down here, if you look right about there, my finger's kind of hard to tell, there's this little valve, and when I waited till the engine was cool, I popped the radiator cap off. We can put that right there, and I turned that valve that's right down there at the bottom of the radiator, and I put a catch pan in there, and all of the antifreeze is now, or at least all the antifreeze out of the radiator is now in that pan. You're still going to have some in the engine block, so when you take that water pump off, it's going to spray it down. All right, well, let's get to the stuff on top, and we'll get rolling with this. I think what I'm going to do first is take off the cowl panel and get it out of the way. Another note I want to show you, this right here is the hood prop, and it works just fine. The problem is you're working right here, and that hood prop is always going to be in your way. So I have a hood prop tool. You can get a stick, something like that. I got on this side because on this side I'm not really working over here that much. I am working all on this side because this is the front of the engine. Okay. All right. So let's get this cowl panel off and start rocking. All right. First thing I want to do is go to the driver's side here. Sometimes you may need a pocket screwdriver and pop this cap off to show that nut that holds the washer arm down. Now, if you want to, it wouldn't be a bad idea to get some kind of marking tape, or marking paint, I should say. I have some old fingernail polish here. Whiteout would work, something like that. A permanent marker, might work. And we can just kind of mark where this thing needs to line up. So I'm marking the shaft, and I'm marking just put a little mark on the windshield wiper blade itself. So I'm using a 14 millimeter socket. Do the same thing to the passenger side one. And like I said, I'm just going to mark the shaft. If you ever replace the struts on one of these, you're going to have to do the same thing. You're going to have to remove this cowl panel, which I actually did that about a year or so ago. Take this 14 millimeter off. Okay. All right. I'm going to move my tray out of the way so it doesn't get knocked over. Now, we need to pick this up, and my light might be in the way. Let me move this. I'm going to pick that up like that. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of just rock it back and forth a little bit in my hand. And see, it came right off. These things are splined on there. Without those splines, that motor would just turn and your windshield wiper wouldn't turn. So I'm going to take this is the driver's side one, and I'm going to put it up here on the driver's side so that way it doesn't get confused with the passenger side. If you notice, I have a towel up here, or a sheet, and that is to protect the paint. So on this one, if I remember correctly, it's been a long time since I've done one of these. I think it's better to close the hood and kind of do the same thing. See how I'm rocking it? And now I'm going to put this one up here on the passenger side. So that way I won't get them confused. So I put them right there on the roof. Now I'm going to take my hood prop. Okay. Now we got to look at how to get this cowl panel off to make more room. This is just a cover, okay? And it slid out of there. It's got some clips that hold it in. You just got to be gentle, take it off. This vehicle is 20 years old, so you got to be careful with that plastic. All right. Now we have to get the wiper motor and the rain sensor here. Unplug that. This right here is your wiper motor. So if you need to replace your wiper motor, this is how you do it. So we're going to take the wiper motor assembly out. Here's the plug for it right here. Where is it? On the back side, it's got a spot to unplug it. I'll show you real quick. Right here, you push that in and then you pull out gently, and it should come unplugged. Like I said, it's a 20-year-old vehicle. Don't be surprised if it were to break off. Plastic gets brittle after a while. I am grabbing a pair of needle nose, and I am going to pop this connector, hopefully. This one's probably gonna break. It came out a little bit mangled, but it still works. Okay, and then there's another one right here. And all I'm doing is just popping these plastic pieces out right here. They're pretty brittle. Okay, so now I'm going to feed the wire back through here. Like I said, this wire is what powers your wiper motor. Let's just see if I can fish it through. There we go. A little tight, a little hard. Okay, now we got to get that wiper motor out of there. And these are going to be 10 millimeters. If you're working on foreign cars, Honda, Toyota, Lexus, Nissan, Subaru, Hyundai, Kia, you want to grab your 8 millimeter, your 10 millimeter, your 12 millimeter, 14 millimeter, 17 millimeter, 19, 21, and 22. If you have all those wrenches and sockets, you can take most of these cars pretty much apart. Now, there is an exception to that rule. If something is on here that's aftermarket, then it may not be, you may have to grab like a 13 or a 15. But if everything is factory, 8, 10, 12, 14, 17, 19, 21, 22. Okay, there are 4 bolts that hold this wiper motor assembly down. You can see they go here, 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 and right there. Okay, I'm going to take this wiper assembly and I'm going to put it over here on the other side of the van where hopefully it won't be in my way. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to go ahead and put the bolts that go with it. Just put them right alongside of it so they don't get mixed up with all the other ones. Now the next thing we need to do is to get this cowl panel out. There's a bunch of 10 millimeter head bolts. Like there's one right here. So there's one right there. Right there, if you can see it. Right there. Here and there. So let's work on getting those out real quick. When I say 10 millimeter bolt, it's more like a 6 millimeter bolt, but it's got a 10 millimeter head socket. You need a 10 millimeter socket to get it. 1, 2, 3. 4. 5. I'm gonna get an extension just to make life a little bit easier. I'll get a 3/8. Looks like about a 8-inch extension. You don't need power tools necessarily for a lot of these things, but man, it makes it faster. All right, I think that's all of them. We're gonna give it a shot. Try to pull it out gently. All right, feels pretty loose. I might have still one over here. Feels like it's stuck. Nope, it's just got a little stickiness to it. All right. So now we're going to try to pull this cowl panel off. Sometimes it's better if you have a partner. See about okay, I got to take the arm off right there. I'm going to take it with it. Okay. All right, I'm going to take this whole assembly and I'm going to put it on the other side. Again, putting this in row in order. So that way we remember how everything goes back together. So if you look, when you're doing a big job like this, I started with that cover, and then the wiper assembly, and now the cowl panel. And then when I put it back together, it goes back together just like that. keep everything in order like that, and it'll help you put it back together in the right way, and also a fast way. Because if you're doing this for a living, it's all about speed. You want to flat rate this as much as you can. This whole job, I think the water pump and everything was about 5-hour job. I have to look it up and I'll find out. All right. So if we're going to start with the time belt, I've got the antifreeze drained, and now we're going to start working on taking some stuff apart. I'm going to start with this ground strap here and this whole motor mount right here. So we'll do that next. Okay, I went through and took all the bolts loose for this motor mount. You have a 14 here, a 14 here, which I dropped. I have to go get it. A 14 here, a 14 here, there, and there. Then you have a 12 millimeter here, a 12 here, a 10 right here holding this little thing on, and a 10 right here holding the ground on. Those bolts right there. So now I'm going to take this motor mount out. All right, with the 10 ground, I'm just going to put this back in its spot, and then with a little ground, with a little sensor there, I'm going to take that. All right, take my 12. It's connected to that tube. It can stay on there for right now. I'm going to take these two long guys out, this brace off, this one out of here, and then this motor mount comes out just like that. I'm going to take all these parts, instead of putting them in the tray, I'm going to take them and set them down over here beside the cowl panel. Then this piece right here, looks like I'm going to need to get my 10 to take that off, so I'll do that real quick. Another thing I did grab that I forgot to mention was my half drive to 3/8 converter, so that way I can use my swivel sockets. They're impact. Okay, so I took that guy off, and now this thing has a little pin in there, and sometimes with the corrosion, this little piece right here can stick. So you just rock it back and forth real gentle. See that pin right there? That pin's what was holding it in there, and like I said, sometimes you'll see some really bad corrosion, and it'll make it stick in there. So I'm going to take this piece, put it with the motor mount, so that way I don't get it confused. Okay. Now, I can kind of just fold that guy out of the way. The next thing I'm going to probably need to work on is getting this getting this wire loom off. I'm going to take my pocket screwdriver. I'm going to push right here, which it's already broken. Somebody's already been in here before, I can tell. You can find that again. And plus, this wire harness is just, it's 20 years old, and this plastic's going to break. So what I'm going to try to do is, I try to bend it behind the ear to get it kind of out of the way. Now, I've exposed my timing cover. The next thing we need to do is take the serpentine belts off, which I'm probably going to need to replace. Probably ought to buy some. I'll take a look at them, see what they look like. And I'm going to need to get my 12 millimeter ratchet wrench or socket. And it's kind of hard to see, but there's a bolt right here. That loosens the alternator up, or it loosens the jam bolt. And this right here, this bolt right here, when you turn it lefty-loosey, that'll loosen the alternator up. You may have to take this 14, because that's your pivot bolt for your alternator. You might have to loosen that up a little bit, but your alternator will fall down or slide down and loosen that belt up. So let me do that real quick. I have my 12 millimeter ratchet wrench on this bolt, what I call maybe my jam bolt for the alternator. What I call it anyways. And I'm loosening that up. Okay, now I need to get to this 12 millimeter right here. I'm going to use a really long extension. Might have to get more than this one. We'll try it. I'm going to get my 12 millimeter swivel socket. I'm going to put on the end of my impact gun. Yep, just like that. And just be kind of careful doing this. Trying to make sure I get the right angle. Would help if I got the right size socket. That was 11 millimeter. All right, got my 12. I put it on there. Don't want to go too far. Now, before you take this belt off, if you need to, you could take a piece of paper and write down how that belt goes on, but it's pretty simple. It basically goes from the crankshaft to the alternator to the AC compressor. Take that off, and I can fish the rest of it from the bottom if I need to. It's a lot easier if you take the tire off and the splash shield through if you're trying to replace this belt. I'm just looking at this one. It actually doesn't look too bad. So I want to take this belt. I think I'm just going to hang it right here on the mirror. Good spot for it. Okay, now I'm going to get you turned around here. Sorry for the shaky camera. And we are going to get this 10 off, that 10. There's one there. There's a fun one right back here in the back. You can feel with your finger. And another fun one, I think it's right here somewhere. And there's another one like hidden right back here. Once I get them all out, I'll let you know how many there are. And I'll show you the timing cover so that way you can see it. So let me work on getting those loose and we'll come back to you. Okay, I have taken out the easy ones that were pretty straightforward. There was a one here. This one was kind of hidden on the bottom. I just used a deep well 10 millimeter with my 3/8 air ratchet. I used the air ratchet, got that one out, that one, and that one. Now I got to get the harder ones out. I did get a quarter drive 10 millimeter deep well socket, and I have it on my quarter drive air ratchet. I snuck it back in here. Sorry, it's really loud. I dropped the bolt, but that's okay because it fell all the way through. I'll get it when I lift the engine up. So now I should have one more bolt, and it should be right there. So I am going to get my quarter drive ratchet with my quarter drive socket and see if this will work. It is definitely hidden down in there. I know you can get it from the top. I'm not sure I can get a good camera angle though from getting it from the top and trying to work around the camera. I can feel it. I'm pretty sure you can get it from the top. It's been a while since I've done one of these. But maybe I should get it from the bottom. If you take a flashlight and you look at this angle here that I'm at, you can see it. I got it loose with my quarter drive ratchet with a quarter drive 10 millimeter shallow socket. Okay, now should come off of there. I might sneak it out a little bit. Yep. You're gonna have to put your hand back here and push it around the camshaft. So I don't know if you saw me, but I push like that. to get to walk around the camshaft. This right here is your time belt, and you see this one was done at 10/7, so October 7th, 2010. We're in 2024 now, and it's 91,000 miles, and this vehicle has about 204 or 5,000 on it right now. So it is definitely time to do a timing belt. So I put it over there with the rest of the stuff that I got in line, and now I have exposed the timing belt right there. So I think the next thing I'm going to do is take this bracket off right here, and then you got to take this 12 off and a couple other ones down in there, and then we'll put the vehicle up and attack it from the bottom. So let me get those loose and I'll show you how to take them out. Okay, so you're going to want your 12mm socket and either your quarter or your 3/8 drive, probably your 3/8 drive, because these bolts are generally in there pretty darn tight. But this is a 12 you need to take off. There's a 12 here, a 12 right there. You can kind of see I already got it out a little bit. And then there's another 12. So you basically have a nut, a bolt, and a bolt. You also are going to take the 14 off this pivot to get this bracket out of the way. I've got them all loose, and that's what we're going to do next. I just want to say I was kind of watching the part where I was taking the timing cover off. Sorry you saw the back of my head for a little bit. Just a reminder, I am a one-man show. I don't have people helping me. It's just me and this tripod and this iPhone. So sorry if the video is shaky, but I'm trying to give you good information. And so anyways, I'm going to show you how to take this out here in just a minute because it is a little tricky. Alrighty here. So I'm going to take this 12mm head bolt out. Now, I want to give you a little word of caution. If you are using air tools in order to take these out, be careful. The part that spins on the back here makes it go from forwards to backwards. You don't want that thing rubbing up against your AC line and cutting into that or something bad like that happening. Now all we're trying to do right now is get the bolts that we can get loose from the top, because this thing is not going to come out right now. I'll show you what I mean. So I got the nut, bolt, putting in my tray. Actually, that bolt right there to the alternator can stay in, because that bracket that I just dropped right here, that bracket has a nut on one end, but it has a slot on the other. So you only need to take the AC bolt, the alternator bolt loose. You don't need to take it all the way out. Forgot about that. Like I said, it's been a while since I've done this. Now, we're going to take the car up in the air. We're going to get the power steering belt off and the crank pulley, and we're going to get the lower timing cover off. Got to take the tower off too. But if I remember correctly, in order to get this motor mount out, we're going to have to get a inverted Allen or Torx set. I have to look at it to get these studs out in order to get this motor mount out. But right now, the plastic lower timing belt cover is also stopping us from taking that off. So that's why we have to go to the bottom now. We've pretty much done everything we can at the top for right now. So let's get that tire off with our 21mm socket. We'll set the tire and lug nuts and everything to the side, and we'll come back from there.